Hi there, this is Tyler, and I'm playing with the Gauntlet community, which if you watch my videos, play with them quite a lot. Wonderful folks, you should go find them. We have a presence on Facebook, we have a presence on G Plus community. You can find us at gauntlet-rpg.com. Wonderful folks, I highly recommend it. You will enjoy it. And we are playing, this is the third session of 4 of Pigsmoke. Which is a game about being teachers in a magical academy, and primarily it seems that you're trying to raise your reputation and avoid actually doing a ton of work. Horrible little students around, weird things going on, and our teachers are trying to remain above all of that sort of crap. They're trying to get their publishing done, trying to raise their own image, and in the process, trying to, undermine anybody who's coming along and might be trying to steal their thunder. I want to say first that we have the Gauntlet inclusivity policy, which means we're here to support each other. We're all friendly. Everyone should feel comfortable. We're all, coming into the game as friends. Also, we have the X card on the table, which I think all of our players know. And for folks at home, if you see somebody do this, someone may put something in the chat. Someone would say, Tyler, hey, I'd like to X card that. This is for if something gets problematic or something gets makes you uncomfortable, something's just destroying your fun. Put that up, we'll reframe, move on ahead. I may ask for a clarification. People can feel free to speak about it if they want, but of course there's no obligation to speak at all. And that is for our safety. People, please feel free to use it. That said, our Pigsmoke has so far not been anything too awful or straying into weird places. So I think we found that we haven't been too problematic with things going on. In our last couple of sessions, we have had our our teachers discover we're here at summer school, so we have 11 weeks and we've gotten through 3, which we're going to try and speed up a little. But we have a new teacher who has come to teach, Professor Titania, who has taken over the mind-bending department for summer school. And our teachers have discovered some kind of odd things about her. She seems to have some odd ideas about taking out all of those distracting thoughts from students so that they can be able to study more clearly. But I think last time we heard that she has some more nefarious plans that she has been kind of has afoot. We have learned that she comes from Arcadia, which is the land of fairies, and we even found a tree that seems to be this gateway, and other fairy creatures have been coming through. Along with that, we have some sort of terrible creature down in the under layer of Pigsmoke, which one of our teachers has their extra-dimensional patron that wants to find, bind, take, use this creature. And we learned a little bit about it. Something that seems like rumors are that there's a banshee, a former member of Life and Death who transformed into this horrible ghost, and they locked her away deep, deep beneath Pigsmoke. We have found a little access down towards this underlayer, which had a dock and a river, which was mostly sewage. And that's still on our table. We also have had, we've had the head of Life and Death Department's pet, Sparky, which is a little dragon, which has been phasing in and out of reality, it almost seems. And one of our professors worked to try and stabilize that, and it had some interesting results. But we're still not exactly sure why that pet is doing it, so we still have that a little bit on the table. And we have a few other things going along with that have caused some complications for our teachers with their students. And worth noting, I suppose, as well, is that we have kind of infestation of vampires, it seems, that have been rather interested in one of our teachers and have been bothering his students, perhaps even replacing or mind controlling them. We saw one, little Sally Cinnamon, who had become kind of dominated by vampires, but was freed by the fine folks at the Pigsmoke Hospital Wing. I'm going to have everybody introduce their characters, and we're going to hop into our next set of play. So I'm going to start with you, Asher. First, would you introduce your character, please?
All right, so I am Blaze Galaxy, who's a slacker for the calling, binding, and sealing away department. And he is a YouTuber, so always trying to find good content here to put on the YouTubes. He was going on a project to bind the different spirits around the castle to get ready for the fall semester. He has cool sunglasses and is always dressed very well. But besides that, is very normal. Yeah.
Excellent. And I love your lower third. It looks awesome. Ludo, would you care to introduce your character, please?
Yes, I'm playing Professor Antonia Baldini, and she is a member of the alchemy department. She has been in Pigsmoke most of her academic life, so she's known around the grounds, and she is being kinda gang pressed into working with Titania, and she has been trying to quietly figure out what her scheme is and trying to create some alchemical solution to the Fey threat.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And Pavel, would you like to introduce your character?
I am playing Professor Mortimer Blackrose. He looks like a proper necromancer from any game that you can imagine. Long cloak with some bony hand coming from under the cloak to help him light the cigarette or some other crazy thing. He wears this like hoodie, but when he takes off the proper hood, we can see that he has like a black lipstick that is partially missing because he had to give his black lipstick to some imps, but the other like black eyeliner and everything. Yeah, and his classroom and everything is in a dark dungeon where he sometimes organizes LARPs that do not always end well.
Yes, that's very true. The LARPs have been very interesting. So I think I'm going to start off real quick with, I believe, Asher, that we had ended with Blaze having gotten a third box of Burnout. And I want to remind folks real quick of a couple of things before we get going. You have your ability, your fulfillments, which lets you get rid of your Burnout. So probably should keep those in mind as we start building up some. Though Antonia has been extremely good at avoiding Burnout. We can see why she's worked so long here at Pigsmoke. Nothing bothers her. But Asher, since you have 3 boxes, you are getting a call in to the head of your department, which the head of department for the, what is it, CB, what is the full acronym? CBSA is Liz Gazzo, who actually kind of is someone who shares your interest in getting out there and putting things up on the internet. She's known for doing some magical TED Talks sort of things. She's a little bit of a self-promoter herself. And you get called into her office and she's, Professor Galaxy, please come in, have a seat.
Sure thing, Professor Gazzo. Dr. Gazzo.
I I've been hearing some things about your classes, about your students. Seems some of them acting strangely. One of them going to the hospital wing. Some of them possessed, Professor Galaxy. We don't like that now, do we, Professor Galaxy?
No, we don't. That's why we've been trying to get past this.
Well, I can appreciate that. And you know, I am such a fan of so many things you do. You bring such synergy to your efforts. You reach out and bring new things into the department. I have such high hopes for you. I just worry that maybe you're getting a little disenchanted, that you're not finding yourself in your work. I think that maybe you need something that will, you know, change your horizons, something that might spark some interest. You know, we're going to be having the summer field day very soon for the students. They'll be going out, they'll do athletic competitions, they'll do crafting, they'll do magical displays. It's fun, it's fun. And their parents come to visit, and the board comes and they see it, and it makes us all look better. It'll make you look better, Professor Galaxy. That's why I think you should head the committee for setting up the field day.
That sounds great. Yeah, we can make this the biggest, best committee or field day we've had.
Absolutely. Now, it's a committee, which means you don't have to do it alone. You should go out, find a few teachers who are willing to volunteer to help. You have 3 weeks, so plenty of time. Plenty of time. And of course, it should be spectacular. And I can think of no one who would make it more spectacular than Professor Galaxy. Oh.
So there wasn't a committee already? Do you know who was on the committee last year?
Oh, well, yes. Unfortunately, none of them have agreed to volunteer again this year. I couldn't find a one who could manage time for it. Well, and the poor professor who actually chaired the committee last year, well, there was an unfortunate incident, and well, most of the time now he just runs naked through the forest.
I see. This sounds more challenging than I thought it might be.
But you're the person for it, Professor Galaxy. I have such faith in you.
Well, I'll report back in 3 weeks.
Wonderful. Thank you, Professor Galaxy. And I'm sure that this is going to give you all that inspiration you've been looking for. And so she walks you to the door, and you head out with this new responsibility on your plate.
Is this a project, or?
It's not a project on its own. It's really more of a time suck for things that you'd rather not be doing. However, if you wish, you can make a project to go along with it. Some sort of, if you could, have an idea for something that'd be super cool or super neat to be part of the field day, you can work that as a project. As the chair of this, you can go around and ask other professors to join in, browbeat them, guilt them, or just wheedle it out of them if you'd like. Obviously, you're very, very busy on your own, so you wouldn't want to spend all that time organizing this crap yourself. But it is sort of now your responsibility.
It's my responsibility to delegate to other people.
So with that in mind, I'm going to scoot on over to you, Ludo, and to Antonia. You had finished last time a project, and y'all had managed to publish. And there, as you see, from the response when you start putting this in, I'm guessing it's probably going into like an academic magical magazine, some sort of journal. But already people are very excited about it. You and your fellow publishers on this thing, people are really interested in this plant-based mineral creation, and it's kind of raised your reputation and theirs a bit. The folks are pretty darn excited about it. But you have your classes going wonderfully. You have thus far kept them busy on their own, and they don't seem to be taking up a ton of your time at all. What are you interested in doing as this new week dawns in Pigsmoke?
Well, after the last visit of the dean, he pressured me to get back into classes and trying to give a seminar about this development. So I tried to prepare a seminar about this subject, trying to get this out of the way as soon as possible so that I can start on another project. And on the meantime, while I'm preparing for the seminar until it's properly scheduled, I'm also tinkering with the crystal magic and using the new plants we created to try to tinker a prototype for what I was talking with Titania.
Okay. Oh, that sounds excellent. So, with the seminar, do you feel like that is something where you'd like to do a little research, delve deeper to kind of figure out what you're doing with it?
No, I cannot delve deeper until this is resolved. So I have to
teach.
Teaching. Yeah.
All
I
right,
cannot delve deeper.
Gotcha. And with this seminar, how are you planning? This is an opportunity to speak in front of, several classes and, quite a few students. What are you thinking it's going to look like? What does your preparation for it look like?
Well, my preparation is pretty boring, which is kind of the weakness, because she wants to let the science and magic say everything meaningful. Mm-hmm. So she gets it because, she's able, because she has a certain charisma and charm. So the other people see that she's hyped out because of this, but they really don't understand. So they share a joy. So she starts preparing a presentation that is a bit dull, but she has been picking over these times working with Professor Galaxy. She's speaking a thing or two about new technologies, and she's kind of making a more dynamic presentation, a bit of an interactive modeling of exactly what is going on in the plans in response, the different realms that are connected. So she's trying to do something a bit more technologically impressive.
Okay, so why don't we have in a moment here, we'll have you and Professor Galaxy maybe have a conversation on some ideas of how to make this thing big and splashy. It might give Professor Galaxy an opportunity to find a volunteer to help with his new project. And so we'll get back to that in a moment. And Pavel, Professor Blackrose had finished up publishing, had gone out into the woods and seen this strange tree and encountered a troll there and some pixies fluttering around. But what are you thinking of this new week? What are you going to be doing coming up?
Well, I sort of sent on university email to everyone, to both of my compatriots, Professor Galaxy and Professor Banoni, that we should meet and discuss the recent developments, by which I mean mostly what I learned about Professor Titania. So we can go on with this. However, if they are busy, then I assume we would see Professor Blackrose somewhere around the purchase department. I think on the first session we declared someone whose name was Claire or something.
We did. We talked about, yes, Claire, who is a Sphinx, who is the alchemy purser, but she handles actually a lot of the finances, because alchemy department is the wealthy department. And so she spends kind of the double job of handling most of the purchase orders for Pigsmoke.
Yeah, so I suppose that Mortimer would go there and would see him like filling up some purchase order, writing something. He basically writes all the ingredients he needs to make to make himself the black lipstick. So ash from freshly deceased, mud from the very boggy forest, some dead animals, and he's like, and then he's like talking with Claire. I'm sorry, Mr. I have filled the documents. How soon can we process them? Because this is a very urgent thing I need.
Well, you discover when you're speaking with Claire the Speaks, she has this irritating habit of always answering with another question. And so as you're saying that, she goes, "Why do we need to hurry so, Professor Blackrose?"
These are very special ingredients that Dean, because I have a requisition. I need it to fulfill an assignment from Dean Smith. So this is like a very urgent thing, and I'm sure that if we can process this quickly, we will get like a Dean's seal in no time. So
why should we be so hasty? Oh, well, Professor Blackrose, I suppose we can see what I'm able to do. And she begins looking through forms, and she's not fast about it, but why don't we have you roll purchase order roll there? So rolling with bureaucracy. Oh, do we need a roll for your party? Did we have that in our character keeper at one point?
Yeah, I'm searching and I don't see it.
All right, I'll pull us up one real quick.
It's in the chat.
Is it? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Ash. All righty.
Yeah, like I thought, it's a juicy miss.
Just missed. All right. Professor Blackrose, I can manage to find so much of this, but mud from the boggy forest. Where am I supposed to get that? Obviously, the answer, I suppose, would be the boggy forest, but she goes, well, I'm just not sure we have much of that in stock. Perhaps if you went to the alchemy department, maybe they have some. I have to say, though, we can provide all of the rest. And she will give you a requisition form for everything except your mud. Sounds like you're going to have to go and get that out of someone else. Or go to the boggy forest yourself.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic, Claire. I'm in your debt. Or no, not really, because the mud is missing. But thank you very much. I will I will see you next time. And I turn, I flap my cloak, and I say to myself, hopefully never. And I walk out. And we see my cloak walking behind me on like bony fingers.
Excellent. All right. Asher, with Professor Galaxy and Antonia there, y'all are, I believe we were going to have the two of you coming to speak to each other for a moment, but you've also received that email from Professor Blackrose saying, we need to discuss something I found. Do you send back arranging for him to also be at this meeting, Professor Galaxy? Or what would you like to do?
I was thinking of holding it in like the lunch hall. So that, because I think Antonio is gonna go with this, and so hopefully this will convince other people to come too. Like, oh, this is a great idea.
Okay. Well then, Professor Blackrose, you probably would get an email back saying that the two of them are going to be meeting at the dining hall if you wish to attend, and we can have you pop up if you'd like after they sit and meet. And so in the dining hall, Antonia and Blaze, the two of you find a table. And Blaze, were you saying you were asking a few other people to come, or are you just the two of you to start off with?
I just thought I'd see other people here, you know.
Oh, okay, so yeah, you get in, and there are the professors who are here having their coffee, who are having snacks. And so, Antonia, you come in and see Blaze. I'm guessing, Blaze, you're walking around kind of chatting up folks looking for volunteers.
Of course.
All right.
So
What is your pitch? What do you say to them?
I just got a new assignment to help hold this this summer festival. You know, it's the biggest fundraiser that we have all year, so we can have the biggest events.
One of the professors goes, "Oh, Professor Galaxy, I'm so sorry. Oh, goodness. Boy, better you than me." Hearing about this.
Well, I hope you'll attend at least.
And so far, most people don't seem all that eager to join in. We could have you work on them a bit more, but as you see, Antonia, you two come together.
Okay, so I approach Blaze and I see him chatting out with people, and immediately, Professor Galaxy, you could not believe, I'm starting to understand why everyone is so excited about your YouTube videos. I've been thinking with this presentation I have to show you. It's just amazing.
Oh, you made your own channel? Maybe we can collaborate. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking about I was seeing these things that they are doing with augmented reality, and I was thinking, how about we, instead of subjecting the students to this danger and to causing all this damaging, and worse yet, having the parents here physically, why we won't create an augmented reality Pigsmoke for any event that you want to organize?
Well, I do think they would want to see the actual Pigsmoke, especially the board. But
the parents, one less headache.
Right. But it's a great idea. Augmented reality is a lot like magic. How are you thinking of organizing this then?
Well, the
biggest thing is getting the word out, I think, right? That's what's so great about doing it in person. Everyone comes here and we can tell them about all we have to offer.
Well, don't you have your followers in social media and in YouTube? They are a platform.
But the same people, right? They aren't the friends and family of Pigsmoke. They're just the followers I've accrued over the years of hard work and lots of marketing.
Well, but for a fundraiser, if we let them experience Pigsmoke through augmented reality, then they can bring some extra money.
That's true. That's true. All the people who can't make it, for sure, would benefit a lot. Maybe we can use it for the graduation ceremony too.
Or even for lectures, so we don't have to be on the same room as students. I heard that you had problems with that.
Yes. This is a great plan.
All right. Well, the two of you talking about it, does this sound like maybe a research project y'all want to start working on? Kind of a magical, technological, blending augmented reality idea?
Yeah.
All right. That sounds very cool. So why don't we can put that, if you want, maybe under, well, either under Antonia. We already have a research project underneath you. But if you want to go ahead and start a new set,
Okay.
we have the two of you who can be working on that, and you can recruit others if you'd like to help with it. And so we have you guys with a new project you're working on. And Antonia, you've sort of implied this might also be a help with lectures. So you're thinking of using it for that seminar, aren't you?
Yep.
Wonderful.
And I think this will get Antonia on the board for the festival, right? Because we need this technology for that.
All right. Sound like you agree to help a little with the festival there too, Antonia?
Yeah, at least I did not compromise in doing something physically, but preparing the software that, that will allow this to happen.
Excellent. Professor Blackrose, are you going to show up or to speak with them?
Of course. I'm entering like I'm exploring a dungeon, just like the doors open. I just like walk around the wall, and then approach the table, and I say, "It's not safe to talk over here."
Can we get an idea what you want to talk about?
I think our university has been infiltrated by a Fae, and they are planning to steal our students.
All right, let's go. Where would be safe?
I don't know, your office or my office, or just the broom closet, so that nobody else overhears us.
But the broom closet is a fly zone. People will be flying overhead. They can overhear us.
Yeah, you'd be
Right.
surprised what I found in a broom closet.
So do y'all head back to one of your offices? All right. Want to head back to Professor Blackrose's office?
It's probably the
All right.
safest.
Let's
All
go.
right.
Let's go. Why not? So we are in this like damp dungeon. It's a little moisty over here. The zombies and it's a little bit smelly. The zombies didn't yet go through full process of shedding their flesh. So a little bit smelly over here. But yeah, I just like close the door to my big workshop, and I'm just like saying, so I was in the forest 2 days ago, and I was getting the materials for our project that we have published. And I have encountered this big tree and these pixies and the troll, and I have managed to learn their secrets. They have all followed over here from Arcadia. They have followed the queen, and have managed to acquire the identity of the queen. It's Professor Titania. She's from Arcadia, and the Fae has infiltrated our university.
Yeah, we had pretty much figured that out. But
Did we?
we were a bit... Yeah, I sent you an email when I discovered that. Did you send it to spam?
I don't recall reading it.
Yeah, never mind. But did you find what exactly she wants? She wants me to research this weird mind-wiping technology.
I don't know the details, but definitely I have discovered at least already one of our pupils has been replaced with this Fey clone construct. If she will manage to do this on a wider scale, our university will be closed and we'll be out of jobs anyway. So I think that's her plan, to just replace our students, because she has access to all of those pupils and students, and she can just replace them. And if you're saying mind wiping technology, then she can like implant the memory from those kidnapped to these constructs. That's even more scary.
That's extremely scared. I was just thinking that she wanted to mind wipe them and indoctrinate them. But yeah, you're right. We must stop this.
Maybe we should speak to the dean then, unless you want to just out her somehow.
Oh, the dean, she somehow got to the dean, which is pretty impressive considering that the dean is a very complex magical being. So
yes. That's why I wanted that to talk over here, because we don't know if Dean is on it or if Dean has been glamored. And that's not my expertise, glamour and other things. So that's why I decided to talk to you. Maybe you have some ideas?
Well, I think the best idea might be to research some way to identify changelings. So then we can have evidence. Then we can think what to do with that. Or at least we know who we can trust in Pigsmoke.
Very well. Very well. I think I just have some agents who will be able to work for me. I will enhance them ghosts and give them the task of following Professor Titania and studying every her move for the next week. Then hopefully we can learn something.
Indeed.
I'm sure people have dealt with fairies before. Maybe my department has some information on how to bind them or seal them away.
Also, the people on the paraveterinary department, they have a lot of knowledge about that. And they also arrived to that conclusion. I've met two of the professors of the paraveterinary department that are looking into that matter. So they can be some putative allies.
Sounds like y'all have come together with a pretty good plan. By the way, I love Professor Blackrose. I love how you play him. He's so funny. But, all right, so the three of you have formed this little cabal, it sounds like, to get some allies and keep an eye and maybe expose Professor Titania's plans here. And so as you break up and begin going about your daily tasks, I think first we're going to kind of work on that idea of getting that seminar ready. Sounds like that's the first step in working on our project, maybe, and handling getting you, Antonia, back where you can get into the classroom, or get back to delving deeper. So why don't we have you? Well, let me hear an idea from you first, Blaze, of what's the first step you think is needed for this sort of augmented reality, bringing this technology and magic together to produce this seminar, the beginnings of your research.
I think it's getting augmented reality technology, right? Like, this is a magical school. We don't really have that or the funding for it.
All right. So, then it sounds like to me you're going to need to ask for some resources out of the university to start procuring this. I think rather than a purchase order, though, this sounds like dealing with red tape. because this is stuff coming from outside of the university. So, with red tape, when you interact with Pigsmoke's nightmarish bureaucracy, say what you're going to do, which you're trying to bring in some of this advanced technology things, and you're going to roll with bureaucracy there.
All right, and it's not an extraplanar creature, so I can't use my move. All right. So I'll roll 2d6. And I got a 8.
All right, so you're going to pick one off of that chart. It'll be time consuming. You need something from someone else in return, or the stress causes you to mark a burnout box. Which one of those do you think you're going to choose?
I think it makes sense that it's time consuming.
All right, so we know it's going to take you a week to do it. So why don't you describe to us, what is the horrible loops and hoops you have to jump through? What takes you this whole week arranging for this?
Well, we can't get stuff sent directly to the school, so I think you have to get it sent to a PO box and then get someone to pick that up and take it here somehow.
Oh, so you've got to arrange couriers to bring it and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all right.
And we probably don't want it traceable, so we need a bunch of PO boxes all over, and different couriers to different places. Yeah.
All right, and so this stuff begins coming in at the end of the week, and it's stacking up in your office, and you're kind of going through it, and of course it's top-end things. You know, the Pigsmoke does have the means of getting unusual things, so you're getting all of this stuff, but it's cluttering up your office, and so that's the week spent handling that. Do you choose to teach this week as well?
I think I'll try my assigning a group project.
All right, there you go. So you're gonna just take the 7 to 9?
Sure.
Okay.
Seems to be what I'm rolling anyway.
All right, so you're gonna mark experience, but one of your students will visit your office with a complication or a difficult question.
Great. We can have them try this technology.
And so, as you teach your class, during the course of the class, you are what is your topic you're teaching this time?
I don't know if I did the vampire lesson from last time, but maybe it's more about how to deal with vampires.
All right, so warding them off, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that the students are great. Yeah.
All right, and so you teach your class, and afterwards, as the class is filing out, you see a young man. He's still sitting in class, and he comes up to you. Professor, after what you've spoken about, I'm a little concerned. I had been afraid I had been bitten by a mosquito, but now I'm a little more worried, as he pulls aside his collar, and you see 2 enormous bite marks on his neck. I don't know if this is a mosquito, Professor Galaxy.
It definitely doesn't look like it. I think I'll show him my bite mark too, because I don't think I got that completely.
Oh! And as you pull aside your collar, the little face goes, "That's definitely not a mosquito bite." He's being fed on by a vampire. What do you think you should... Do you have any ideas how to help him?
I think I want to try to bind these vampires, right? So maybe... Well, so he would probably know where they are, and we can go work on this together.
All right. So we'll come back to you as you go doing this vampire hunting, and Again, in kind of the spirit of the game, I'm probably going to have us do that as very descriptive, then have the roll at the end, whether either we'll use a cast a spell or an adventuring sort of thing, but we'll do it very descriptively. So think a bit on how you imagine your hunt to go. And I'm going to scoot over to you, Pavel. You have, you're working with the rest of them on this Titania question, but they didn't talk with you about the research project that they're working on, so that's not something you're having to deal with, and didn't mention the festival, so you're not having to worry about that. Are you planning on teaching this week? And what other activities you think you're wanting to do?
Yeah, I'm trying to think, what do we need to expose Titania, because apparently all the cards are on the table. There are some allies in the veterinary department.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I wanted to make sense.
You could, with these people at Paraveterinary, you could, if you have them start finding fairy creatures, that certainly leads to some evidence of a fairy incursion. Or you could start trying to go around talking to other professors to turn them against Titania. Or you could start following her, sending your minions to follow. You talked about you wanted to have some ghosts, maybe.
Yeah, that was the idea, because I need to cast some magic. Hopefully this will work this time. So I think we actually do a cut, like, late at night at the city cemetery. We see, like, a mist over there. It's probably, like, midnight or 1 o'clock. And we see Mortimer walk out from the mist. And he has, like, a necromancer staff made from some leg bones stitched together, and then some like forearm bones, like open fingers at the top, holding some skull. And he just, like, walks from grave to grave, just, like, knocks on them. Come on, time to wake up and serve your master. And yeah, I'm like going and waking up spirits. Maybe I'm just, like, putting my etheric hand into a grave and pulling some spirits. Wake up! And then I probably have, like, a couple of spirits standing, like, in an army, but they are, like, wondering what is happening. And, like, listen up, I have an assignment for you. There's a person you need to follow up. You need to tail for me. You need to report everything she's doing and everything strange about her.
Excellent. And I think, since you're going to the graveyard here at the town, a lot of these are like the people who used to work at Pigsmoke, or the people who've lived around magical stuff. So you've got some of them who are wandering around going, oh my, where is my cauldron? I'm missing my cauldron. Because, of course, they're newly brought out ghosts. One of them's over there teaching towards a gravestone. You students never pay attention. I get no questions from any of you. None of you. And, of course, she's pointing at gravestones, so they're really not talkative. Why don't we roll that magic and see what goes on?
Cool. So hopefully my department is calling this is spirit and interacting with the undead. So that's my jam. Let's roll and see. It's a miss.
Is it? Oh, your sorcery is 0. Oh.
No, my sorcery is massive, but I rolled a 3.
Oh, I thought you rolled 2 3s. Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking up at the top. Oh. Oh, goodness. I'm so sorry. Well, as you're casting, and these ghosts are up there, they're going to go and start following her. They're following your direction. But you can tell as they start wandering off back towards Pigsmoke, they're pretty distracted and not so bright. And so as they filter in back into Pigsmoke, you can kind of, shake your head sort of, oh me, we'll see how this goes. But may not get the results you're most hoping for. But the ghosts begin spreading out and searching for Titania. Do you wish to teach this week?
Yeah, why not? Let's go into teaching.
What topic are you teaching your class this week?
I think that surprisingly, since I was doing some communion with spirits, this could be the topic because I was preparing to do this act. So probably I have some notes, and I can like also deliver. So when doing spirits, do not bring up the too old, those who were in the grave for more than 50 years. They are like probably not too bright. So I'm probably like, although I'm not like about commanding them, just like bringing them up and maybe like which one to brought up. So like a entry to ghost binding.
Excellent. Alrighty, let's roll that teaching, see how it goes. Ooh.
Didn't expect to see that. That's an 11.
Fantastic. This class goes great. First off, marking XP, but the students, they seem really interested in this, and there's actually a glimmer of intelligence in your class, which is so often missing. And as they leave, actually, as you finish the lecture, a couple of them even clap. Oh, thank you, Professor Blackrose. Oh, well, what a magnificent lesson, sir. And you have a whole load of your class who are now going to go out and attempt to talk with spirits from the knowledge you've gained, given them. Antonia, as we reach the end of the week, all of this equipment has started arriving. We don't have that augmented reality sort of thing yet, but we certainly can put together where for your seminar you can use this stuff to project your various things for your seminar. Do you wish to try and do the seminar here at the end of the week? Or do you want to hold off until the tech's a little better?
No. I think it's because otherwise, until I get this seminar done, I cannot do much else. So I make this seminar, make a small presentation, and I start talking about how we got these plans and their potential. And then when I start to jump into future projects, I point out that these plants, they are able to synthesize inorganic compounds on the structure we want. And as plants, they are their own source of energy. So we can use these plants as massive servers that are auto-sustainable, and they can be bioorganic computers able to process the insane magical algorithms that were outreach of magicians because of the limitations of conventional mundane computing. And then we show the trial run of our augmented reality as the first test drive for this system.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, that's excellent. All righty, roll up that teaching seminar.
Okay, let's. Okay, I don't know which one are mine.
You can see where it says last roll total, it says 8. So you rolled the 6 and the 2.
Okay, so I have a 10.
Woohoo! You are a teaching machine. I don't think you failed a teaching roll or had anything less than a 10 on a teaching roll yet. I'm telling you, I see why they kept you here at Pigsmoke. You are a fantastic teacher. And so you can mark an XP, And this is really, because this was a seminar for students from all the different departments, and they are really excited about this. And in fact, one of the students comes up to you from Life and Death and tells you, Professor, this is fascinating. I've actually been working on something myself that may help you.
Oh,
well, if you'll come back to my room, and if you accompany him back to his room, you see that his room is covered in vines. He says, I'm not very good at keeping notes, he says, and he brings out this little box, and inside of it you see a little sprout with a leaf on it. He says, so for my notes, well, Professor, this one was for your seminar. And he takes it over to the vines, and as it gets close, the little leaf starts vibrating, and it twirls into the other vines. He says, all of my notes are here. And he starts pulling on a leaf, and as he does, it sort of unrolls, and you could see all of the notes from a class from your seminar. He says, I know, Professor, it's not, nearly a computer, but maybe it could start as a beginning.
Tell me, what are the memory capacities?
Well, right now, each leaf can hold up to 20 pages of notes. I have 200 leaves, so about 400 or 4,000 pages. Not a computer, but it is a lot.
I think we can improve those numbers. Are you familiar with the work of Professor Blackrose?
Oh yes, Professor Blackrose. He's kind of scary.
He's pretty nice once you get to know, especially on root magic. I was surprised that he was excellent. If you check my last publication, you will see there the contributions that he did on root magic. So I will suggest that maybe you present Professor Blackrose with an idea about how to expand memory capacity on plant systems, and I'll be happy to join as a co-author on that project, because I already collaborated with this on Professor Blackrose, and I think I can, I can supply a lot of input, especially in terms of crystalline structures that we might apply to the leaves to increase this capacity.
All right. I'll go and speak with Professor Blackrose about this. Thank you, Professor.
Always at service.
And so we have reached the end of this week. And at the end of the week, Professor Blackrose, several of the spirits that you had sent off to follow Titania have come back at various times to report that she seems to be very interested in having students who come for one-on-one tutoring, that she does a lot of personal meetings with her students. And one of these spirits says that when they were sitting in on one of these conferences, that it seemed like Professor Titania noticed and was kind of, she got very angry that I was there. She wanted to know why I was haunting her office. I said because she's interesting, but I don't know if she believed me.
Very good, very good. You did well. So, what was happening on this one-to-one tutoring? Has she been, I don't know, doing something inappropriate with the students? What happened over there?
Well, first the student came in and sat down, and she said, "Well, hello there. And then the student said, "Hello, Professor." And then she said, "Look into my eyes." And then the student just stared at her eyes for about 15 minutes. And I think she, well, she pulled something out of them.
Very good. You did fantastic. Now I think you can go back and take a rest. I mean, back to the grave and take a rest.
Oh, and it kind of moans its way out of your office and fades as it goes down the hallway. And start of the new week, we have I'll have a nice enough weekend. No classes to talk of. All of the equipment has begun coming in for you, Professor Galaxy, and it has arrived. Your office is just cram-packed full of crates and boxes and bubble wrap and all sorts of things like that with components here and there. If you'd like, are you going to begin trying to work on it to start putting it together? Is that something you're wanting to do this week?
Yeah, partly. I also want to use it to recruit more people for this committee, right? Like, oh, we have all this equipment you can use if you just join the committee.
All right. Well, then why don't we, since you're wanting to do that, you can either say go out and kind of socialize with folks, see if you can work up some interest in helping you out, talking up all the cool things that you've got that's going to be working with. And that sounds like a small incestuous world where you're going out there and maybe finding someone. Or you could try and go and just smooze a few folks.
I'll try small incestuous world, I guess.
Alrighty. You're rolling straight up with that one. That's a roll with nothing.
All right. We'll try it. Hopefully I won't fail like last time. I got an 8.
Okie doke. So we're going to be choosing one of, you run into someone you really rather have avoided, you catch wind of some bad news that will affect your department, or you see 2 other faculty members doing something highly dubious, and you're implicated or drawn in. What do you think?
I'll try the person I'd rather avoided. That sounds interesting.
All right. As you're sitting around talking inside of the, and this is probably like, do you think you went off campus and or maybe at one of the, where the professors go and have a drink and, you know, kind of a pub that they hang out in? Or you think this was like at the dining hall inside Pigsmoke?
I was planning to do the small incestuous world last time in the dining hall, so maybe I'll just go back and try again.
All right. Well, I think you've got a couple of people that are interested. I think you'll fill out 2 or 3 folks who, because of this new stuff and with your role, are interested. They're like, all right, Professor Galaxy, this sounds very interesting and unique. I would like to do this. And as they're saying this, you hear behind you, you turn around, and there's Professor Talamon. Your old friend from Foresight. Professor Galaxy, you're in charge of the festival this year, are you?
I'm leading the committee, but the committee's in charge. Would you like to join?
Would be very interested in joining. I have foreseen that it is going to be a marvelous success.
We could use your talents in making it so.
Wonderful. Sign me up, Professor. I'll be happy to help you.
All right.
And so you pulled on not only Antonia, but Professor Talaman and 3 others who are now working with you on this festival. And we're going to, we got 2 more weeks till the week it comes up. So you got 2 more weeks. So I think by the time we start the next week, you probably should be able to tell me what you think it's going to be. Like what activities you're thinking of for it.
All right.
And, but I'll say with Professor Talman there, you got the impression, if I conveyed it hopefully, but you're not sure how friendly she is wanting to help you.
I'm sure that's common in committees like this.
And so you start having your committee meetings, and people are volunteering for various parts that you're kind of assigning. And Professor Talaman has, she's shown up, and every time you ask for someone to take on a task, she'll have managed to avoid that. But she's certainly being there and, being a part of the committee for right now. Let's move over to you there, Professor Baldoni. What are you doing? We've gotten the equipment in, and actually, let me scoot over first to you, Professor Blackrose, because I think I'm going to have that student come to you with the plant memory system that he's developed. And Professor Blackrose, Professor Brandoni suggested I come speak with you. She was talking in a seminar about using plants as a memory storage system, and I've come up with one, and he'll describe his vine set where he keeps his notes.
Yes, that's really fantastic. And why are you telling me this wonderful full story? You need some help? Is it some project?
Professor Brandoni suggested that you're very knowledgeable about, working with plants for various purposes. I think she was saying that maybe you could help me with this.
Oh, I might consider this. So what is it that you're trying to achieve? A plan that can store lots of notes, or like what's your end goal?
I think so. I think the idea is that it'll be like a computer rather than a notebook. And, this is kind of Antonia slinging something onto your plate that's just going to take more of your time. Like she asked you if you would be willing to do it. How do you feel about that?
Well, I feel that this poor student has walked into a bad place at a bad time, because I just think exactly what can help us. I definitely think that you should go and discuss this plant structure with Professor Titania and ask her about the possibility of binding some spirits, so that the spirits can help you organize those notes. And yes, I think, and then you can come back to me and tell me what has she told, and we can work on something out.
Oh, that's excellent. Oh, fantastic. And so the student, of course, Professor, and off he goes. I do need to get back to you a second there, don't I, Professor Galaxy, because you were going to a student's room who are going to find out about this vampire attack on him, weren't you? What is that like? What happens there?
I imagine it's in the basements. I don't know if that's where some of the dorms are, or what.
Certainly can be, and I imagine Paraveterinary keeps a number of various animals down there as well.
Yeah, and I was imagining like recording it as like a continuation of my like LARP saga. Like, here we are, continuing this, dealing with. Here's how to deal with vampires.
All right. And so as you're moving through towards where this student says about the attacks, I think that out of the shadows, you see a pale face step. He's wearing all black, his head completely bald and shining in the light. He's so pale.
I'll hold out my wand. Be like, we meet again.
He says, Professor Galaxy, I have been wanting to speak with you.
Well, I'm available.
I see you have brought your camera.
Of course.
I believe this is my good side. As he strikes a pose for the camera, and he'll even do a so you see his teeth.
I don't know if vampires show up in recordings. It's not.
You look down at your little view screen, and you do see him there.
Okay, great. It's not just a blank empty space with a voice.
Professor, I have observed your many YouTube videos.
Oh, well, you are now a star.
That is all I have ever wanted, Professor. I was thinking perhaps I could collaborate with you.
What do you propose?
I have a very good singing voice. I was thinking if you put up my songs on the YouTubes, that I would be able to extend my musical career.
Sure. Maybe you can just send them to me. We can do some sort of collaboration.
You should hear my version of My Way.
Maybe we can use it for the intro bit. You know, I've been needing some intro music.
And he begins singing there in front of you. Now, I'm going to ask you. You have this vampire there. He seems quite, interested in working with you, but obviously having a vampire around Pigsmoke who has been preying a bit on students is worrisome. What would you like to do? Are you going to work with him? Or are you going to go, ha, and just stab him through the heart? What would you gonna zap him? What would you like to do here?
I wanted to try to make him a TA. Because the department's all about these entities, so I wanted to bring some back to the department.
All right. Well, I'm going to give you a couple options here. You can try to schmooze him to get him to do it, or you could try casting a spell, since you are all about binding and that sort of thing, to where you bind him into working with you. What are you thinking?
Cast a spell sounds interesting, and when I do that on an extraplanar entity, I do it with bureaucracy. So,
and he is sort of extraplanar in the sense that he has a material form, but he's dead, so he's also of the negative spirit plane. So that will work.
Interesting. All right. So I'll roll 8, 9, 10. I got a 10.
Oh, fantastic. You have one unintended consequence of that, though. Which one do you think you're going to take?
Maybe the first one. Your solution becomes someone else's problem.
Oh, I like
maybe
it.
This vampire was meant to do something for someone else, and now he's part of the department.
Well, how about this? He's going to want to keep eating. How do you think you're going to provide for his particular dietary requirements? Keeping in mind, it's now someone else's problem. Who are you going to shove off that part of his, of the problem of him?
Do they have to be humans?
They do have to be humans.
What department would do this?
Well, let's see. Alchemy can certainly produce blood, create blood of human sort.
Yeah, alchemy sounds good. So maybe I could trade, like give the alchemy some materials and they can provide blood.
All right. So that's you've decided, okay, I'm going to set him up with alchemy to handle his dietary problems.
Yeah, and that helps because now there aren't as many vampire attacks because they know where to get blood.
All right. And so, Antonia, you receive a memo, probably an email, actually, from the head of alchemy department saying, we have had an unusual request from a professor to provide a decent quantity of blood on a regular basis. Considering your remarkable success with producing minerals, you are the first person we thought of to be able to produce human blood. We look forward to seeing your results. Please feel free to get in touch with Professor Galaxy about this project.
So the first thing that I wanted to see, I see this and I start, I wonder if I can synthesize the plasma. And I immediately quickly make something and try to recompose it from basic salts. So I'm going to use self-sufficient. No, actually, before I start, I roll my eyes and I use this is my life now. And I pick, something interesting and useful about whatever is happening before I proceed.
Okay. Honestly, I think that you can, the plant that produces minerals, with a few adjustments, blood is basically just a series of minerals in a compound. You could probably adapt that, create a plant very similar that would drip blood.
Okay, so I start based on that, and I replace hemoglobin with legomoglobin, and I isolate the plant walls of some chloroplasm so that they kind of behave like blood cells. And then I start mixing the chemical components, and I use self-sufficient to try to create this particle, and let's see the results and what I send. So, plus research. Oh, 4! So it's a failure.
Oh, dear. All right. It seems like it's dripping out blood that it's supposed to and all. And so within a few, it drips continually. It only takes a couple of hours before it puts out a full pint of blood. And smelling it, checking it, it seems like it's human blood. So you send it on off to Professor Galaxy to feed to his new assistant. We'll come back to how that plays out in just a moment. Pavel. Oh, and by the way, Professor Galaxy, I think I would consider that you have fulfilled one of your fulfillment.
Yeah, I was about to mention that.
So I think you could take off a burnout because you did perform a service for an extraplanar entity.
Great. Can we also take a break soon? It's been like an hour.
Oh, yes. We are hitting that. So why don't we take 5 minutes, and I'm going to come back to you, Pavel, when we start. So let's take 6. We'll be back at 20 till. How have you been doing, Ludo?
Fine.
What's been going on with you this week?
Oh, heavy burden of work.
What do you do?
I'm a researcher.
Oh,
I'm a postdoc.
interesting. Do you work for a university or you work in the private sector?
Kinda. So it's a research institute that works with the university. So the worst of both worlds.
Ah, that's really neat. All right. We'll let Asher get back in a sec, but I'm gonna start with you, Pavel. And I think I'm going to start with yes, sir.
Before we jump into what you have planned for me,
Yes, sir.
as we see this like young student who was directed to me about to leave, I just call him out. Oh, come on, here, boy. You cannot go looking like that into Professor Titania. And I just like pretend to like correct his like uniform and actually like slip like a little tiny pearl somewhere to his pocket. I totally imagine it's like a magical recording device, so I can I don't know, inspect what's happening there or maybe record after this.
Okay.
A potential for some magic next scene.
All right. Excellent. Okay then. Asher, you back with us? Not quite yet. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and start this scene with you, Pavel.
Sure.
As you sent the boy off, and does this recording device, is it something that you can, like, sit back in your office and hear as it's going on, or do you have to see him again later and get the recording device from him?
I imagine it's like a live streaming something, so... But maybe before he goes, unless he goes directly to Professor Titania, I might go somewhere else. I suppose we see what would the necromancer do to track his items. I suppose we see like maybe like a table with like a bones representing different parts of the university, and we see like a little tiny like bone moving, so I can like track where he is and know where he goes. When he goes to meet Titania, then I will like tune in.
Excellent. That's fantastic. And yeah, he doesn't go immediately to her. He goes about. He's probably going to see her the next day.
Yeah, perfect.
And so, keeping an eye on him, you do eventually see him go to speak with her, and a Marauder's map, exactly. And as you're watching, I don't know, some sort of scrying pool, or maybe the little bone on the map speaks out. How do you see it? How do you get to hear it?
Well, it's magic. It has to be dangerous. So I suppose I like put on like a bony crown, and this allows me to like really feel what's happening there and be able to like inspect it. So because I'm like mostly curious, like what is happening to this boy when she like zones into him. Is she wiping his memory or whatever else? Because maybe she actually doesn't do him any harm. So
right, okay. Well, let's
this crown and it's like I'm there, like feeling and seeing.
Okay, I think that sounds like solving a problem with magic. So why don't we roll a cast a spell?
Yeah, but I can't make any good argument for it being my department. So.
This doesn't quite seem like it. So that's rolling in disadvantage.
Yeah, so I'm going to roll one extra die. So how do I do it? I roll 1d6 and then I will reroll my dice.
Or you could add one more die in, yeah.
And now I will reroll those. For a fail. I wonder if I will ever manage to cast a spell with even a +2. So far, I didn't manage to cast a 1. So
you have had horrible luck with that. So you've cast, and this recording, this sound begins coming back, and you hear the boy go in, and Professor Titania, Professor Blackrose asked me to come and speak with you, and you hear that beautiful voice. You can't quite make out what she's saying. It's just almost like it's bells and chimes. It's so beautiful. And then you hear the boy go, "Oh, well, he said that you could help with a project I'm working on." And he describes out his vine project, and we hear occasionally the chimes and bells as she's replying. "Really, Professor? Well, I appreciate it. When would you like to? Midnight. All right. Well, yes, of course. I'll meet you in the gardens." Tinkle, tinkle, chime, chime. And then, as the boy, "Thank you, Professor," and you can kind of hear him standing up, and like you would be envisioning it, but it's all just like glitter and sparkles. You can't see anything.
Damn it! A magical protective barrier. How does she get a hold of this magical artifact?
As he's saying goodbye, you hear that tinkling, chiming say something else. And then through the sparkles in your mind, you see those two beautiful purple eyes, almost like they're looking directly at you. And then the magic seems to fade away. And so it's not too much longer after that you're in your office kind of working, when you look up, and just standing there in the doorway, you see Professor Titania. "Professor Blackrose."
I was kind of expecting you, Professor Titania.
"You have been rather interested in my work of late. I seem to have had visitors of all sorts, both living and not so living. Why didn't you just come to me personally if you were interested in some of my teaching? Maybe my research?"
I suppose I would like. No, I think he feels like safest behind his desk, because if she can glamour the dean, I'm just like a small fly. Anyway, I will not go down lightly. I just like touch my wand under my desk, and then just say, "I know what you are planning, Professor Titania."
"What I'm planning, Professor Blackrose?" And she'll kind of move up closer, and she's looking you directly in the eyes. "There's no reason for us to not get along. We can be friends, can't we, Professor Blackrose? I like friends." And you can kind of feel as it feels like she's working on your mind, as she looks so beautiful. She can't be bad, can she? Such a lovely woman wouldn't be evil. What do you do?
Well, my bony crown has couple of uses. So I suppose we see, even though I'm like yes, falling into her charm, we see like a bony hand from the cloak rise up, put on the crown, and that's like, your magic won't work on me, you fey witch.
Oh, lovely.
I have seen through this.
Her face changes to anger. "Professor Blackrose, you don't want to be my enemy. If you get in my way, I will cause you all sorts of problems."
If you won't leave this university to leaving all the kids here, I will destroy the tree and you will never go back to your kingdom.
"Professor Blackrose, you've made a fatal mistake here. and she starts backing up out of the room. It's almost like she's floating along. She's not turned around. She's just floating back towards the door. Says, I'll be seeing you around. As she backs out of the door. You let her go, or are you doing anything else?
No, I have no idea what to do. I was kind of caught off guard, so.
All right. As she leaves, you know you've made a bitter enemy out of her. She's going to be really gunning for you. So let's move over to you, Antonia, and kind of you and actually Blaze. Because I think I'm going to say that your seminar and working with that tech was your first, kind of the two of you combined managed to get one onto your research from that last week. The two of you will place together here for a moment as you're discussing. All this tech stuff's come in, and you're there talking, trying to get the project working. So I'm going to have us, we could do some, if we want to do some delve deep here to work on it. But you'll notice that there is this tall, bald, and very pale gentleman there. And you can see he has a straw going into the little pint bottle that you had sent over with the blood. And he's sipping on it as the two of you are talking. Blaze, Antonia, would y'all like to consider this a moment where the two of you can do some deep delving and research?
Okay, since the vampire is a TA, can he help with the deep diving?
I think you have to actually take a TA as an advancement.
Okay.
So for narrative purposes, he's there working as a TA. For his mechanical purposes, you can buy him to add that.
Okay, good to know.
So feel free to use him for like little tasks and stuff, but for his mechanical boost, you can buy that with an advancement.
Great.
Hey, Blaze. Hey. What's up with Contolaf over there?
I thought we needed some help around here, and it was a little too normal, you know?
Right. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna use This Is My Life to protect Blaze. Because, okay, this is too normal. So I assure that Blaze will not get hurt from this.
Okay.
I think I'll proceed with Delve Deep.
Excellent. Alrighty. Go ahead and roll that. And once we've rolled, you can kind of explain what the research is, how it is working to push you along.
11.
Woo, so, fantastic.
So I get 3 questions.
Okay.
1 point I'm going to put for the research.
Okay, so go ahead and mark that.
For sure. Now, she's delving how we can make advanced reality magical and how we can install this on Pigsmoke. And I think during the process of mapping the campus and processing the information, planting the data plans, all these, I'll learn that there is something here that is not as it appears to be.
Ooh. Okay. As you are looking over this and trying to figure this out, you begin to notice that this is probably going to be more complex because looking at Pigsmoke, there are a lot of places that are larger on the inside than they are on the outside, sort of thing. There are a lot of hidden nooks and crannies that don't show up on the map. There is this whole layout of kind of dimensional pockets and things like that. So it's going to be rather difficult. But in the process of that, you also can see where underneath Pigsmoke, there is a space that is some sort of dimensional pocket only accessed by one means. And it's down this river underneath there. So that's what you discover with that.
Okay, and following up on that, I ask, what sort of people that I don't know might have a vested interest in this?
Let's see. With what sort of people that I don't know might have a vested interest in this? I suppose that could be someone who you don't know and they have an interest, or someone you don't know has a vested interest in it. And I don't think that Professor Galaxy has told you about his search for this thing lurking at the bottom. And so as you're pulling this up, I think you see Professor Galaxy. Professor Galaxy, what is it that you do that keys off, that lets Antonia know how interested you are in this?
I think I'm bringing up the broom closet thing again. Right, like we talked about when we were eating. Like, oh, it's off of the broom closet, like I said.
All right.
Maybe that can be the theme of the event. Broom closets.
All right. And Professor Galaxy, are you going to begin doing a little delving deeper to research this? You notice as you're doing so, you hear in the background the bottle getting empty as the straw is slurping. As behind you, and we're going to name him Vlad, just because. So Vlad, your vampiric TA, has finished the blood, and as you look over, he's sort of swaying. My goodness, I feel like I am floating. And he moves over to the corner and begins singing. Like a bridge over troubled waters, I will lay me down. And he looks wasted. I mean, he's kind of and looks really out of it there as he begins singing a series of folk tunes.
Well, I guess we don't need a radio.
You know, I'm a bit worried, Blaze. You know that as a dead being, he should not be able to metabolize ethanol. So he's going to be drank forever.
And Pavel, I'm not going to have you mark a burnout there. I think that the move I used on that was giving a PC an enemy rather than having you do burnout. Okay. Sorry to interrupt. What do you say to that, Blaze?
I think I'll try to get mad at Antonia. Like, you were the one who gave me this blood. It's your fault. He's drunk. Now you're saying he's not going to get better?
I was just told to make blood, not that it would be used as food.
Well, I assume when you make blood, it'll actually work as blood.
Well, and blood...
It's not going to be alcoholic blood.
He's over there now, you know, strumming a Bob Dylan tune. Where he got the guitar, you have no idea. But he's playing away, leaning up against that, and he says, "That blood was very good." Blaze, want to roll up your delve deeper? Or are you so mad you're just going to get out, get out? What are you doing?
I I'm not sure. I think, yeah, telling. I think I'm gonna try to tell Antonia to try again. You know, like you need to fix this. We relied on you, and you messed it up.
Well, if you had come to me directly instead of going through my boss, I mean, I thought we were friends, Blaze. You, instead of just talking with me, you tried to leverage your position. That was not cool.
Well, it's politics, you know. I'm trying to get a teaching
how
assistant,
much I
so I have
hate
to go
that.
through my boss.
You know how much I hate that.
Blaze, do you think you're giving him a piece of your mind? Or giving her a piece of your mind?
Yeah.
All right,
Ooh.
let's roll that. And again, this is a compulsion, so Ludo, you're going to have, you'll have opportunity to, not to do it, but.
Mm-hmm. I got what's charisma? +1, 9.
Ooh, the target of your ire still has to choose one, but someone important witnesses or learns of your rudeness. They are not pleased. So, first off, Antonia, do you wish to choose one, or do you wish to mark a burnout for resisting the compulsion? And you could just say how you handle it if you do so. Or you could choose one of the 3 of cringe or cower, flee their presence, or give you something they think you want.
Okay, I'm gonna use flee your presence. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm like, what? She's like, she looks at Blaze like she's seen by the first time. She's like horrified. She's more afraid of him than of the vampire. And she just runs away.
So Antonia heads out. As you're heading out the door, I think the dean just happened to be walking by. And as you head by, and he can see how upset you are. That golden head looks around into your office, Professor Galaxy. And is there some sort of problem, Professor Galaxy?
Oh, well, we got this new TA, but Antonio was in charge of alchemying the blood, and it has alcohol in it. So the TA is now drunk for eternity.
He strums on his guitar for a moment. The dean says, I think that it's most unfortunate to have my teachers here fighting like this. Professor Galaxy, I would have thought better of you. And he moves away. And as he looks back over his golden shoulder, he says, also, I'm not sure I saw a request form for you to take on a teaching assistant yet, Professor Galaxy. I may have to review this. And he leaves, leaving you probably in a bit of a stew. Would you like to do your research, though?
Sure. I got a 6.
We are having a hell of a time with these dice today. They are not being friendly to anybody but Ludo. They love Ludo.
I'm better than last time. Last time I just kept rolling 6-.
So what'd you get this time?
6, because I have a -1, so that doesn't
Oh.
help either.
All right. Well, then on a fail, you're looking across. You are so angry and so upset that, it's just, you cannot manage to concentrate. And it's about that time that over there playing his guitar, Vlad goes, oh, I don't feel so good. I think that blood isn't agreeing with me. And he goes, Bleh! And all that blood sprays out over your research, over you, making a horrible mess as he goes, "Oh, Vlad Goldbaum." Ugh! And he falls down, seemingly unconscious, or at least asleep. You think asleep, though, as he begins to snore.
Well, we found out how to deal with the vampires.
All right, so we managed to get, I think, 2 so far on the new project. Yep. And we're in this new week. So I'm going to come back to you, Pavel, and find out what would you like to be doing right now. We've had that threat come in at you. We know that the young guy that went to speak to Titania is supposed to meet her at midnight in the garden. You did hear that through your recording. And also, you know, whatever you might be interested in doing, you can, you know, come up with that. And, you know, we could think along several days if you want, or if you want to go and deal with that thing tonight. What would you like to do?
I think I will... yeah, I don't think I have much interaction with any other PC, so I think I will go and visit Professor Antonia.
All right. Antonia, you've, you know, we're going to say it's fairly soon after your little argument with Professor Galaxy that Professor Blackstone shows up. How do you look? What's going on with you since you've had this fight with someone you thought was a friend? Ludo?
I'm thinking.
Oh, okay.
I'm drawing a blank now. Mm.
Okay. Well then, no problem. Why don't Professor Black Rose, you show up at the office there, and we'll start the conversation.
Yeah, I am very polite. I like knock on your doors.
Yeah. My door is always open.
Oh, so I suppose as I know the door's like.
I assume it's a student. Do you need help with the project? Oh, it's you, Black Rose.
Oh, good day, Professor Bandoni. I hope I'm not intruding. I have a rather urgent case.
Please.
Yes, I like close the door. I'm afraid that things are progressing rather not very well with Professor Titania. I might need to speed up the things. You said that there were some members of
the veterinary department. Yes.
Yes. Would you like to accompany me? I'm not really sure I know them yet. I want to ask them to catch all of those weird fae in the forest. Maybe that way we can like prove or use them as a or learn something more about Titania plants. I think they will be the most equipped to especially catch the troll and some of the pixies peacefully, because my little army would rather be not very peaceful with them, sir.
I think I can give you the name of both of them, but I think it would not be a good idea if we go together, because Titania kind of seems to need me for her plans, and I'm on her good graces. So, you know, if we actually act on something, I can sucker punch her, so she'll not see it come from that side. So maybe it's better if we don't seem to be working together on that, if you get my drift.
Oh, that's very well. That's excellent. So you say
I him the names. So it was Professor. Yeah.
Very well. That's excellent, Professor Bandoni. So just in case we need the sucker punching, I'm going to leave over here a tiny little package. It contains a bone crown that in a time of need you can infuse with your magical powers, and it will take any glamour that Titania might have cost on our dean. I'm leaving in your hand this very powerful artifact that I might need you to use in a moment of great peril.
Excellent. All right then. So you're going to go and speak with the members of the Paravet department, and
unless Antonia has something else to discuss with me.
right.
Well, she looks at the crown, she looks at you, and she raises an eyebrow, like, you know that I have no idea what to do with this, right?
Oh, that's very simple. In time of need, you just need to somehow put it on the dean's head, and then just fuel this with your magic, and it will do the work. It just needs a little bit tiny bits.
I'm an alchemist.
I don't know.
Okay.
Pour some magic fluid on it. I don't know.
Okay, Mortimer, I have this. So she gets a lead box, puts some gloves, grabs it carefully, puts it on the lead box, close it. It's okay now.
Perfect.
All right. So going to speak. Are you wanting to have the make this excursion out to the tree quickly, like tonight, or you want to go and speak with them about later in the week?
I want to go and speak with them because I would like this paraveterinary department to catch some of those Fae, because I think they are much better equipped to this. And then I don't know, unless something stops me, I might go and listen in on Professor Titania. What's she doing with the student?
Gotcha. Midnight. Okay. Well, you go and you speak to Professor. Let's see, what was her name? Professor Jack Hem. And speaking with him about these fairies that you found, he is very excited. Oh well, Professor, pixies, you say? Yes. If we could find that sort of thing, it will prove that we have an incursion of Fae. We can't have that. Nasty creatures are the Fae.
Yes. That's a very good idea. However, I would strongly recommend taking a bigger hook and box as well.
For what, Professor?
There's a troll walking our forest.
Oh, troll! Oh my! Very dangerous trolls.
Yes, so as you see, the case is very dangerous, and I think that you are the best equipped to deal with it, capture the pixies and the troll, and then get the truth out of them about who the Fae is and what are their plans.
All right, why don't we roll a schmooze just to see if they're going to want something back from you?
Yeah, let's roll. You'll be rolling only the first two dice. Well, it's an 8.
All right. They'll do something simple in exchange for a payment favor of bribe. And this is pretty straightforward. It may not be easy, but it's certainly straightforward. And so as they're speaking with you about this, I said, well, Professor, considering the danger of this, I know that you have certain assistants you use of a less living quality. Would you mind terribly if we borrowed some of them to perhaps help in this?
Of course. I will send them as your escort.
Oh, thank you. We'll go tonight.
Perfect. I will send them with you as an escort.
Excellent. All right then. So we're gonna cut away from you, and we'll come to you at midnight taking a look at what Professor Titania is up to. I'm going to come back. We got Asher's off for just a second. So I'm going to come back to you, Antonia, and ask, would you like to teach this week?
Yes, definitely.
All right, teach away.
I mean, I have to use this teaching luck. And I got a 10.
Amazing. So once again, mark your XP. And I mean, your students they're brilliant. They're coming back with all of your projects you've assigned them, and they're doing so well. It is a miracle how well you're teaching this summer. Is there anything else you're interested in doing here through this week?
I think that she is intrigued by whatever is going on at the center of the university.
Mm-hmm.
And she does not entirely trust that Blaze will get it done on his own. So she decides to try to encounter someone of the Cullen binding department to see if there is someone else that might know a bit more about that.
All right.
So what would that be?
I don't think we're going to need to roll. I don't think there's a roll for that. I think you can go and find someone there in the department. And what do you say to them? What is it you say to try and convince them to help you?
So I said, hey, I have been mapping the university in different plans, how it crosses over with different realms, how there are all these pocket dimensions. And I notice, the same way that one knows that there is a black hole by the way that light itself seems to disappear, there seems to be some big darkness at the center of the college that I cannot pierce. Do you know if there's something there? Has your department studied that?
And this, you've gone to one of the older professors, we'll say, that happens to be here. And he actually, well, we'll say she actually doesn't teach during summer. She spends the whole summer doing research. And so as you say this, and we'll call her Professor Pierce. So Professor Pierce, an old researcher in the CBSA department. And she goes, the older lady, she goes, oh, you must be talking about the vault. Oh, very dangerous down there. It's where professors and professors' experiments that have gone awry sometimes, well, it's not like we can simply let them go out into the world. So there was a vault made. I was just a young professor when they did it. It's rather complex. Inside of it, though, these experiments and these somewhat wackadoo professors are, they're entertained, but not allowed to leave. Are you thinking of going there, Professor?
I'm thinking that there might be a leak.
Oh dear, a leak. Oh, that could be most disastrous.
Yeah, there seemed to be strange influence around the college. So I was wondering, you say that they can be entertained? So you mean that there is one-way communication with it?
Well, not exactly. It's that once they're in there, they sort of go into a dream state. So whatever they find entertaining, they experience it for, well, eternity, I suppose.
So if they can if they can dream, they can probably contact anyone that has abilities pertaining unconscious mind or dreamlike states.
You very well may be right, Professor. I never thought of that.
Do we have a non-neuromancer in your department or any other?
Not in mine, but I imagine mind bending has some. As foretelling might as well.
Indeed. They might be able to tell if everything is okay within the vault without risking compromising anyone else.
Well, that's very possible. I know that Professor Talamon works quite a bit with dream interpretation.
I wonder if we can go into the dreams of someone else. Who knows who can?
Perhaps. Maybe you should speak with her. Let me see here. And she goes into her desk. Ah, yes, here. All of our department has this, and she hands you a key. Please do return it. It's the devil to get a replacement. But this should allow you access to any of the particular security measures that the department has put up.
She grabs the key. Okay. I'll be careful around it.
All right.
And when she gets back to her lab, she is going to galvanize the key with radioactive isotope so that she can track the key in case something happens or someone tampers with it.
Oh, that's very good. That sounds like solving a problem with magic, though. Why don't we roll that real quick?
Okay. Eight.
8. All right. So with an 8, it's going to do what you want, but you need to choose 2 things off of the list.
I would say it's short-lived or otherwise temporary.
Okay.
I use, because of the magic involved, the isotope has a lower half-life.
Okay.
And the magic affects far more than you intended. So the key also carries some modified effect other than being traceable.
Excellent. All right, I'll keep that in mind. We'll play with that here in a minute. I'll come up with what that does when we start playing with the key. And I'm going to skip over to Asher and to Blaze there. Blaze, you've had this row. Your teaching assistant has passed out. Your research went poorly. What are you doing with the rest of your week? And by the way, did you teach yet this week?
I haven't taught.
Would you like to do so?
Yeah, I think this passed out vampire might make an excellent addition to the class.
All right. So you're going to show the class a real vampire and that sort of thing? Oh, that seems cool. All right. Well, roll your teaching.
I'm actually teaching a class for once. Once in a while. I got a 13.
Woohoo! All right. You get an XP, and why don't you tell me, what is the special thing you discover as you are teaching using Vlad as an example? What discovery do you make about the vampires, or Vlad in particular?
maybe because I summoned them, right? So I don't know. Maybe I noticed that they like stole something from the students while they were taking their blood or something.
All right. And so as you're doing your kind of example here with Vlad, you have one of your students who begins, as they're examining Vlad, you see the student's eyes get wide, and they come over and, "Oh, master, you look so peaceful," and sort of stroking Vlad.
It sounds like they should go to the hospital too. I don't know.
You want to send them to the hospital, or you want to do something to them? You're try and do something yourself, either or.
I'll try to deal with it myself, because it
can kind of keep you out of trouble. All these students of yours going to the hospital.
Yeah.
All right.
I tried going to the hospital and it didn't turn out great. I got this.
I think it turned out fine, says the little mouth on your neck.
Yeah, so I think I'll just try to get rid of this curse or whatever myself.
Okay. Sounds like you're using your magic.
It does. Would this count for my using it on an extraplanal entity, or?
Yes, because it's the effect from the vampire.
All right, so I can use my bureaucracy to deal with vampires.
Very good. Blah, blah.
Blah, blah. And I got a 12. These dice are liking me right now.
They're turning around a little. Oh, that is fantastic. All right, you succeed, and you see this student kind of, oh, but you still have one choice on there. What do you think it's going to be?
Maybe the magic affects more than I intended, because we have all these students around.
All right. I have... It may screw a little of your plan. If so, you can tell me. I can modify. But I think this student shakes this off. We see a couple of your other students sort of shaking this off, and we see Vlad kind of, and he begins to crumble and turning to dust.
No.
Do you want to try? Do you want him to? This is going to ash him, unless you're violently opposed to that.
I think that's okay.
And so his eyes open up, and he goes, "Oh, we are only dust in the wind," as he ashes out and disperses around Pigsmoke. You can hear a few other oh, as the vampires that were his descendants. But you have effectively ended the vampire infestation of Pigsmoke with your huge spell.
Great. That's one thing that went successful.
All right. I think I'm going to go back over to you, Professor Blackrose, as it has reached midnight. And coming into the garden, I'm guessing you're not exactly, that you're kind of trying to observe without being seen, or are you just walking in?
Yeah, I have already antagonized Titania, but I have very bad I expect her that she would like to do something better with the students. I suppose since it's night and it's the cemetery, I suppose there are a lot of shadows. So we can see Professor Mortimer like dissolve into the shadows, and then he can listen in without being seen.
Oh, I love it. Do we think this is a magical effect, or do we think that's just good narrative?
I don't know.
let's hold off and save right now its narrative, and then maybe if she starts seeing you, we'll have a sorcery roll to see. Because as you get there, it's not just that boy that's there with her. You see there are 4 or 5 other students. So she has a half dozen little boys and girls. And she says, she's talking with them. All right, students. I think that all of us are going to have a wonderful field trip. Please, follow me. And they begin walking down the path towards the forest. She begins leading them in. You got to follow?
Of course. We see like a big pile of shadow that's following her. And the shadow, those like trying to avoid the moonlight because it's like almost like full moon. So it's like swooping through like the little tiny penny shadow pieces and like moving behind her like a puff of smoke.
All right. So going through the forest, and you're skipping shadow to shadow as she leads them in, and you know the trail she's taking. She's heading towards the tree. And so they continue through the forest, shadows pouring down. But as you get deeper in, you can see she's looking back over her shoulder, and she's kind of like she's feeling something, a presence maybe. Why don't we have you roll that sorcery now to see if you can remain hidden here in the forest shadows?
Of course.
I have faith in you. I really believe you're going to manage to get a sorcery roll off this session.
Yeah, I got a full 10.
All right. There you go. Okay, so you are staying really well hidden, but what do you think is the one complication here?
I think I cannot stay too long hidden from a powerful fae, so I know that I just have like a few moments, and then she will be able to discover me, so I should better ready my wand and get ready to save those kids.
Okay, so you're going with short-lived. You didn't want to do become someone else's problem to clear a burnout?
I really wanted, but I had no fictional to back it up.
Okay. All right, then. So she, again, seeming very suspicious as we get close to that tree. And as we arrive there, you could see the little fluttering pixies. But you also see your skeletons and zombies and the the 2 guys from the paraveterinary area department. And as she walks in and they look up at her and she looks at them, kind of that standoff of, oh my goodness, she goes, what are you doing here? And they go, Professor Blackrose was saying that there was a fairy infestation. We've come to get these pixies. And one of them has a long, like, butterfly net, and you see him hop up. And she, her eyes begin to blaze, and she goes, no, leave them alone. And you see her beginning to cast. Do you want to do something as she's casting, or are you going to just watch and observe?
Yeah, why not? Why not go all the way? I suppose I will like leave the shadows, aim my wand at her, and say, Professor Titania, I believe it's your time to leave our plane without the kids and without my fellow law professors, but you'll be allowed to leave before we destroy the street so you can never go back.
She looks back over there. Blackrose, I knew you would not stay out of my business. And she looks angry, and as she's doing this casting, a glow rises up over her in the tree, and she says, you won't be able to stop me. And I think she's calling you to have to either take action or you could tell she's making the tree do something.
Yeah. So last episode we see me kill one of those trees surrounding the big tree.
Mm-hmm.
So I suppose I aim at one of the roots and fire a beam of death, and we see part of the tree just like age very fast and then turn into dust.
Oh, I love it.
And I say it, your last chance to leave our plane before we close the gate.
All right, cast a spell.
Well, that's up to you. I'm actually trying to sight her very hard.
Oh, okay. That sounds great, too. That sounds perfect. Yeah, let's do a scathe.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a miss.
Oh, and so she looks down. She says, "Not my tree!" And she lets out this bright flash of light. And you see the two paraveterinarian department members go, "Ah!" And they fall back. And this blast into your eyes, it blinds you suddenly. And you kind of stagger back. I'd like for you to take a hurt condition as she has. You could feel the heat, and it's like seared your face. Mm-hmm. And it takes you a few moments, to get your sight back. You're rubbing your eyes, and it's blurry at first. And you could see the light. And as your vision starts to clear, you could see where the tree has sort of cracked open. Mm-hmm. And she's leading the children into the crack. Hurry, children. Black Rose is here to hurt you. Get inside the tree. I'll protect you, my little ones.
Not yet, Titania. And I just... Yeah, you said my skeletons and zombies are here. Mm-hmm. So I just like... Come on, my faithful, loyal... army, let's save the kids. And we just all of us from different part of the forest run and try to grab the kids before she goes for the tree with them.
All right, then. I think that you're having them fight for you. So I think we're going to do an adventuring because this is putting ourselves in physical danger and all that. But you get to roll sorcery with it because you're using your skeletons.
Yeah. Oh, it's a 12.
Woohoo! All right. Well, with that, you get to choose 2 on the chart. You don't get hurt. You come out looking good. You get whatever it is you're after. Which one would you like? Or which 2 would you like?
Skellington save the day. Oh my god. I suppose I get what I was after, and I'm damn good looking. So what could this mean? Yeah, I suppose this 2 other professors are really impressed, and well, I don't know, say a good word about me saving. So it's not that I'm not glamorous or anything. They just I was witness doing something good and good and proper for the university.
Oh, I think that's perfect. And so your skeletons rush over, and you rush over. You're getting the children and rushing in on Titania, and she's trying to fight you off it because there's so many of you. She can't get spells off, and she's driven back towards that crack in the tree. And I'm going to put a little narration, but if you want to change it up, feel free. I think she gets pushed back into this crack, and the paraveterinarians are rubbing their eyes, and they're looking. They're going, "Professor Black Rose, be careful!" As she falls back into the tree, and you lean forward, and you've gotten that, you shot that death blast towards the roots. I think you're still suffused to that energy, so that as she falls backwards, you kind of stumble into the tree, touching it, and it begins to crumble and writhe and rot. But as it does so, the branches begin falling, and one of them lands squarely on top of you. And it does put that second hurt on you. As you go into unconsciousness, you can hear like a fading scream of Titania. No, Black Rose! And the professors from Paraveterinary are coming over. Oh my goodness, I think he's broken his skull. And you go into unconsciousness. And we'll come back to you with your role in the hospital when we start back to you in a second. I think we're going to scoot over to you, Antonia. We have had you doing things through the week. Is there anything you'd like to finish up this week with, or would you like to, you have taught, yeah, you've already taught fantastically, and you've done research. Is there something to close out the week, or should we move on to the next week?
I
you wish to see Talaman?
Yeah, I think I went to visit Talaman, and depending how that goes, if I put the thing at the center of Pigsmoke to the side, or if I go deeper.
Okay, so as you go see Professor Talaman, she's, oh, Professor Brandoni, it is so nice to see you.
It's the same. So what have you been doing lately, now that you have a bit more free time?
Well, I had been working on discovering something that was rather disturbing to me. And she begins to describe to you how she had had her dreams infected by some sort of screaming ghost, something that's reaching up from the bowels of Pigsmoke. It has been putting a pall on all of our students, and it has meant that I cannot delve into dream like I always have before.
So I think you know why I came here then.
She gives that look, kind of like surprised. Of course, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you, I was doing my searching, but I think Professor Galaxy, well, I think he tried to sabotage me. I had taken one of my magical baubles. I believe Professor Galaxy broke it.
Oh, come on. Professor Galaxy will never do something like that.
I saw him talk. We talked, and immediately after, my bound spirit was gone.
Could not you detect the spirit then?
What was that?
Could you not detect the spirit then?
No, it was completely missing.
Well, then it's hard to know exactly what happened.
I suppose you're right. I had found a secret door in a broom closet. I followed it down, and she tells you about the boat she found at a little dock on a river, and that she got on the boat and followed it down the river until she had reached a door where there had been many magical sigils. She said that that was where she believed that she had detected this spirit, this dark entity. But then once she had come back, that she wasn't able to get in the door. And after that, she's had difficulty being able to trace, though she'll tell you which broom closet she went in.
Do you start having troubles with dreams before going into the broom closet or after?
It was before. I had followed the disturbance down there.
Interesting. So it seems that the talent binding department, where spheres are true, there might indeed be some leakage of whatever is contained on the vault.
Oh, that would be very bad.
Indeed. I will not recommend you to go down again. And maybe we should seal the broom closet. Maybe we should report this to campus security.
That may be a good idea, Professor. You've made me feel much better about all of this. I had wanted to solve the problem myself, but it may be too much for me.
Do you happen to know some more specialized neuromancer?
I know that there is... let me think a moment. I know that the Department of Mind Bending works with dreams. I'm not sure who is the most skilled at it that's here for the summer, but I'm sure the head of the department would know something about it.
Well, the head is Titania, so she probably does not know much about anything.
She's now inside a tree. But that's what she tells you. Anything else you want to do with that?
Considering this, I want to delve deeper.
Okay.
On the subject of the vault.
Now, I think you're going to have to wait till the next week to do that because you already did your delve deeper for research this week.
Okay, that was that week? Okay. Then probably, I think instead, then I'm going to try to use something to seal the broom closet then.
Okay.
I think I'll use self-sufficient to create some kind of lock system that will seal this entrance.
All right. Why don't we roll that up then?
Okay. Oh, 7.
All right. You make it, but you're going to have to choose one of the problems there.
Yeah. Time consuming, I cannot pick. I already took a time consuming. And I would say that someone else really wants it, or in this case, really wants to go into the broom closet. And someone will really spend a lot of effort blowing it up. So it's there, but it's not going to stop anyone, and it's just going to focus the attention of who wants to use it.
All right, and I think we know one person who might want to get in that broom closet, and I'm going to shift over to that person because Blaze, with so much frustration, though great teaching having gone on, as the week comes to a close and you're sleeping, into your dreams comes the voice of Mother Monster. Blaze, someone is preventing me from seeking the creature. You must get it soon. I can sense forces working to destroy or seal it off from us forever. The time is now.
All right, I'll get out of bed and get dressed. Head on down there.
You hustle over to the broom closet, and indeed you can see it's been sealed. What would you like to do?
My monster's a little late.
I think even that because you work together so closely, I think you can tell that this is alchemically sealed and that it was almost certainly Antonia that did it.
Maybe I'll text her then. Like, what did you do?
All right.
I have to get rid of this before the festival.
I text Blaze back. Oh, you heard about that? There seems to be a dangerous leakage coming from the vault. I had to emergency seal the brown closet. You should stay away. I don't know how strong it is. I kind of rushed the job.
This doesn't seem like the best way to handle it.
It's just a temporary solution.
What happened to our broom closet theme for the festival?
There are other broom closets.
All right, I'm gonna try to break through this then.
Oh, all right then. I guess you're going to be using magic.
If it is magical, or it would probably be adventuring if I'm just trying to like get out a sledgehammer or something.
Which would you prefer?
I think I would prefer adventuring because I haven't done that yet.
Okay. So you're actually just physically beating your way through the lock and the door and maybe the wall.
Yeah.
All right. Roll then. And you roll plus nothing unless you have something special with that.
I don't think so, but my magic is plus nothing also, so.
Oh.
I got a 12. Perfect.
Holy cow. So you get to choose 2 off of there. You don't get hurt. You come out of it looking good. Or you get whatever it is you were after. So you could choose 2 of those.
I guess the first and last.
You don't get hurt. And you get whatever it is you were after. All right. So you're taking just this sledgehammer to the door. And it seems like the door and its ward is really tough. So eventually you shift over to going through the wall beside it, which doesn't have a ward on it. And you're bashing through the wall and eventually crumbles down. And as you step through, just after you step through, you hear from down the hall the sound of the dean going, "My gracious, what in the world has happened to this wall?" As you, I'm guessing, start hustling down the stairway, heading down.
Yeah, but I think I'll command like some of the brooms to go clean up after.
I won't even have a roll for that. I think that's just cool narrative. As the brooms begin, they step out of the hole and start sweeping a little. All right. And we're going to have you descend down, and we're going to say that that was Sunday at 11:59 when you begin your descent. And so as you get to the bottom, it will be the beginning of a new week, which, by the way, will be the start of our 7th week. And we're coming to our close here. So, Antonia, I think that you, inside of your room, you've put up this ward, you've gotten these texts from Professor Galaxy. But it's at that moment as the text ends, and, you don't know he's beaten through the wall there. But your key that you have begins to vibrate rather strongly. And as you sort of pull it out of your pocket, it begins like pulling you back in the direction of that broom closet. And I think that's where we'll end you. And I'm going to, as midnight strikes on Sunday night, Pavel, why don't we have Blackstone roll the hospital move and see how well the staff has put you back together?
Yeah, I'm totally curious myself. Well, apparently not very well.
What you roll?
A miss. What else?
A miss. All right. So they don't manage to heal you completely. I'm going to say you could take off 1 hurt, but you still have 1 hurt. And I'm going to ask you to choose 2 off of the list there.
Oh. Yeah, I'm thinking. I think I was not discharged, but I escaped, and the nurses are coming for me because I'm still hurt and
I love it.
bleeding all over whenever I walk. Yeah. Well, apparently, yeah. I'm thinking about some good cosmetic mutation.
All right. How about this? How about I'll give you the week to think about it, and when we start up next time, we'll have you getting out, running from the hospital with the orderlies now going to go off searching for you. And you could tell us then what brand new interesting mutation we have for Professor Blackrose. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. Well, gang, I had fun. We got through pacing a little faster. I hope that was entertaining to everyone. And we'll be back together next week.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that worked a lot better.
Yeah, the
Did
flow was better.
Good. And we've solved a couple of problems. We no longer have the vampire infestation.
And because a lot more.
And it seems like Titania has been shoved back into Fairy. We'll see if maybe she has some little vengeance ahead of Blackrose, but we'll see what happens there. And hopefully next time I want us to do a little bit of seeing what the festival's going to be like and hitting that last month of summer semester, as well as I think it's pretty clear we're going to deal with the mother monster and the thing in the basement. So, got a few things on our plate for next time. Should be interesting. All right, I'm going to stop the broadcast now. Anyone who watched, thank you, and watch more.